I'm glad to be the first guy to put them on. Make some noise for Sean Gilroy.
How's everybody doing? Doesn't get louder than that?
Doesn't get louder.
That's as good as we can get it.
All right, we're off to a great start.
It's also like 5 minutes.
So this is my first feature, and they say you never forget your first, no matter how hard you try. She was terrible. Not at sex to me. She was. So I want to start things off with a joke that I wrote when I was 6 years old. This is the very first joke I ever wrote. My father was so impressed. He was proud of me. You know, went downhill from there. But all right, here's the joke. What do fish decorate their houses with around Christmas time? Coral reeds. It was the last time my father was proud to hear me tell a joke. Now he's like, Sean, how did it go the other night? I'm like, Dad, it was so funny. I told a joke about you and I having sex and me getting you pregnant. He just kind of like looks at my mom and he's like, you sure you didn't drink when you were pregnant with him? She's like, I just stood in front of the microwave a lot. That must I feel bad for my parents because it's like, I feel like when they decided to have a child, there was just like one moment when the two of them like paused and like, were like, you know, what happens if our son grows up to be a mentally ill, effeminate weirdo who likes drugs and gets in trouble? My mom was like, no, he's our son. He's gonna love Jesus and baseball. I don't like baseball, and I only like Jesus physically. Because he's preachy, but he's hot, you know what I mean? You're supposed to let Jesus come inside your heart. Like, can I let him come in my mouth instead? Or on my lower back. He's the Son of God, whatever he wants. Valentine's Day passed recently. You know, it's also Black History Month, but Hallmark doesn't really make money off of that. You know what I mean? I didn't make any plans with my girlfriend for Valentine's Day this year. Mostly because, like, she doesn't exist. So, you know, yeah, I mean, I'm saving money on chocolate, right? Plans were made for me, though, by the state of New Jersey, because on Valentine's Day, I had a court-mandated psychiatric evaluation. It was for something that happened 5 years ago. Don't worry, don't Google it either. Yeah, just to make sure I'm, you know, gonna mingle with the public. That was cool. They were like, Sean, your drug test came back positive. I was like, well, great. That's fantastic news. They're like, no, that's actually a negative. And I was like, all right, Doc, you're throwing all this mambo-jambo at me. Be straight with me. Do I have AIDS? She was like, well, you know, I'm a caseworker, and this is a psychiatric evaluation. You're still not saying no about AIDS. Kind of worried. But she was like, Sean, we're going to need you to pee in a cup every week for the next, like, while. And I was like, all right, cool. Like, after I pee in the cup, do I masturbate to the person who drinks from it? She was like, no, honey, you're not allowed to do pot anymore. And I was like, I'm not allowed to do pot anymore, but I thought you didn't want me to go crazy. So now I'm not allowed to do pot, you know? And it's legal, too. That is so like the government to interfere with, like, your personal life. Like, you drive through the front of one Olive Garden and everybody's labeling you this and that and everything else. When they were pulling me out of that Olive Garden in that wedding dress, I was like, yo, you said when you're here, you're family. You don't do this to family. That's life now. I've lived in my life, I've lived under circumstances where I was drug tested regularly. I lived in a halfway house when I was 25. If you've never lived in a halfway house before, you've never fucked up huge parts of your life. There's still time. If you don't know, a halfway house, it's like an orphanage for criminals and drug addicts in their 20s and 30s. Yeah. It's like Annie, except nobody's cleaning. It's the hard knock life. Is it, Randy? Buying Hot Pockets and Red Bull with food stamps, is that a hard knock life? Like, really? I think it could be worse. A halfway house has a manager, because who better to follow an authoritative figure than a drug addict or a criminal, right? The system's foolproof. The manager of this house, his name was Michael Brooks. And the reason I use his first and last name is because I don't fucking respect. Google him. I don't give a shit. Tell him my address. I don't give a shit. Michael Brooks, to describe him, he looked like Big Head mode on GoldenEye from N64. You know, he was bulbous and like his features were stretched around his skull. And you know those fat Italian kids that never shut the fuck up about their dicks and the sex they have and their moms do everything for them? Painting quite a picture here, huh? So anyway, Michael Brooks was absolutely obsessed with the fact that he thought I was gay. He brought this up all the time, every chance. He couldn't have more than 3 sentences back and forth without him bringing it up. He said, this is a quote from him one time. He said, "Yo, I could see that kid eating pussy, and I still would think he was gay. Why would you be there? You weren't invited, like your mother and I are doing something, dude. Get the fuck out." He also said, and this is a direct quote, "I have 3 different kids from 3 different women. That's how much I love laying pipe." You gotta love sex if you're willing to be absent in 3 different people's lives and have them grow to resent you, right? Yeah. So, one time Michael says at a house meeting, he's like, you know, I want to get everybody together every Sunday night because I want to start having dinner together. I was like, great, I'll ask to work late. But yeah, so I go to the dinner. And I've been to enough interventions to know a trap when one's about to spring on me. I was like, something's up with this. So we sit down at the table and we all hold hands to say grace. And like, I don't know your religious backgrounds or who pretends to be at holidays. Have you ever had somebody ad-lib grace? It's terrible. The best part of that is when you let go of each other's hands and stick the knife into your brain so you can forget what the fuck just happened. He was just he was like, yo, I'm grateful and I want to thank God. It was like DJ Funkmaster Flex was like doing grace, like I want to thank God. So I'm cutting into my ravioli. I think the knife grazes the surface of the piece of pasta, and he's like, you know, I don't think we create an environment where you can truly be yourself. I was like, dude, can you just call me a fag? This is way worse than you trying to be sensitive. So I don't, why does this guy want me to be gay so badly? Oh, it's going there. Let's get there together though, guys. So one time we're alone. Don't worry, doesn't go that far. We're alone and I'm watching TV. And Michael comes in and he's like, hey man, sits down next to me. He's like, what are we watching? I was like, oh, you can put on whatever you want. I'm gonna go stand in the park till the sun goes down. I don't wanna be here. It's like, no, put on whatever. So I put on Futurama and an ad comes up. And it's an ad for Domino's. If you don't know what Domino's is an imaginary pizzeria where they take chemicals, they shape it like pizza and turn it into diarrhea. If you've ever had it, it's great. Except for like when shitting it out feels like a Play-Doh pump. You think the grease would make it easier to get it out of your body? Yeah, it's tough. So we're watching this commercial for Domino's, and I'm like, yeah man, I haven't had Domino's in forever. And he's like, would you suck a dick for $1 million? I was like, yeah, we're getting different stuff from this ad right now, you know what I mean? It's like, I don't, cheesy bread doesn't take me there, dude. But and my answer was yes. Yes, I would. I've touched dicks for way less than $1 million. And I'm not just talking fiscally, I'm talking self-respect. I'm talking I had to pay for half the fucking drinks too. I thought that was part of the deal. Jesus Christ. So, and also, how many $1 million offers do I get? Really? Would I suck a dick for $1 million? I'd suck 2. I'd suck 10, but not more than that. And not in a row. We'd have to take breaks. Like 2 dicks, water break. 3, I really powered through that time. Let's stop for lunch. Who wants pineapple? Everybody, I hope. Pineapple, right guys? Just powered through, just dicking down. So I say this to Michael, and I'm like, what about you, Michael? Would you suck a dick for $1 million? And he looks away. And he's somewhere else in his head, and he goes, I deep throat that shit. Dude, your voice dropped several octaves, and you're gonna go at it with technique? And I'm the gay one because I like Katy Perry. Every time I'm alone with an aggressively heterosexual guy, that question comes up. The most annoying part about it is they never have the money. Like, what the fuck? You're just checking? Anyway, guys, thank you for your time. I'm Sean Gilroy. Woo!
Make some noise for Sean one more time, yo.
Champion.